Because I refused to sleep with him before marriage, Song Chengran took my birth details and paid a fake fortune teller to lie to his parents. This girl has a hard fate. She'll kill her father, mother, and her in-laws too. Marry her, and the Song family will be destroyed. His parents were terrified. They burned our marriage contract in public and broke off the engagement in front of my grandfather. Grandpa didn't say a word. He just took me and left for Nanyang. 3 years later, Song Chengran's parents traveled thousands of miles, begging us to save their paralyzed son. Grandpa left the decision to me. I said directly, when heaven sends disaster, it may be forgiven. When man brings it on himself, there is no mercy. His fate, he asked for it. The bad blood between Song Chengran and me didn't start with that broken engagement. Half a month earlier, on a sweltering afternoon, he had already hammered the first nail into the coffin of our relationship. He had just come back from the provincial city, wearing a trendy suit, his hair slicked back. He invited me to the best private room in the town's finest restaurant. After a few drinks, he locked the door behind him and lunged at me impatiently. Those eyes that usually looked at me so tenderly were now clouded with lust. Man, we're getting married anyway. What difference does one day make? Everyone believes in free love these days. Stop acting so stuck up, like some old relic. His hands reeked of alcohol and cheap powder, the kind you find in brothels. He'd clearly been fooling around. I dodged sideways and grabbed his wrist. My fingers pressed against his pulse, and my brows tightened. His pulse was floating and weak, his Kai pulse barely detectable, classic signs of severe kidney exhaustion. Combined with damp heat pouring downward, he was only 22, yet his body was more ruined than a 50-year-old man's. I shoved him away, my face stern. Song Chengran. Do you want to die young? He froze, then flew into a rage. Suman, what are you playing at? I'm your fiancé. Because you're my fiancé, I'm trying to save your life. I looked at him coldly. Dark circles under your eyes, unsteady steps, weak energy. If you want to live past 40, you must abstain from sex for 3 years and take my medicine to restore your kidney energy. Otherwise, not even the gods can save you. Song Chengran looked like I'd stabbed his deepest shame. He slammed a teacup on the table and shouted at me. Suman, are you crazy? I try to be close to you, and you curse me to an early grave. You're just an ungrateful bitch. Or do you just not want to marry me, and plan to stay in that stupid clinic forever? If you don't believe me, then fine. I straightened my clothes and turned to leave, but the Su family rule, no intimacy before marriage. If you want to keep the engagement, fix your body first. Behind me, porcelain shattered. Along with Song Chengran's furious roar, fine, Suman, you wait. Marrying a jinx like you would be the worst luck of my life. Back then, I thought it was just a petty fight. I underestimated how humiliated a man could feel after being rejected, and even more so, just how shameless the Song family could be. Half a month later, outside the Song family gate, firecrackers exploded, not for a wedding, but to break off the engagement. Song Chengran stood on the steps, looking down at me. Holding our red marriage contract, beside him stood a shifty old Taoist, pretending to count with his fingers, muttering incantations. The Su girl's birth signs are pure yin. She carries the heavenly killing star. She kills her parents, her husband, and her children. Let her into the Song family, and the house will fall, the bloodline end. The old man's voice was sharp and piercing, like an axe cutting off all my escape routes. Neighbors pointed and whispered. So it's her, the Lone Star, who killed her parents. No wonder old Dr. Su sighs all the time. Who'd marry a woman like that? She'd curse whoever marries her. Song's mother waved her handkerchief as if shooing a fly. Old Master Su, you heard him. We're not being untrustworthy, but her fate is too hard. The Song family has only one son for generations. We can't risk Chengran's life. Burning the contract publicly is just to wash away bad luck. We won't even ask for the betrothal gifts back. Consider it charity for Miss Su. Humiliation. Bare, unbridled humiliation. They weren't just breaking the engagement, they were ruining my reputation, making sure I could never show my face around here again. Grandpa stood in front of me, his back straight as an old pine. He didn't look at the Song parents, he stared straight at Song Chengran. Boy Song, did you say this? Song Chengran's eyes flickered, then he stuck out his chin. Satisfaction on his face from getting revenge. Grandpa Su, it's fate. Master Wuzhen said so. I can't help it. Man and I are not meant to be. I just hope she won't pester me anymore. Pester me. I looked at his face, ruined by overindulgence, at his fingers trembling slightly in the sun. A sign of inner liver wind. Song Chengran. My voice was clear and loud, and the crowd fell silent. I stepped up the stairs toward him. He flinched back, intimidated by my aura. Why are you so guilty? I smiled faintly. Because of your shameful secret illness, or because you made up this whole show to cover your own uselessness? You're talking nonsense. Song Chengran's face turned bright red, like a cat whose tail had been stepped on. Whether I'm nonsense or not, you know in your heart. My gaze swept over his parents, then over the fake Taoist. You Songs are breaking this marriage today, but you're also planting karma. Too much water spills, a full moon wanes. If a man acts without restraint, he will face retribution. You don't need to burn the contract. I pulled my copy from my sleeve and tore it to pieces in front of everyone. Red scraps fluttered down like a sad, bloody rain. From today on, the Su and Song families are strangers. Marry who you want. Wed who you wish. If we meet again. I paused, a cold smile on my lips. It will only be between life and death. Song's mother trembled with anger. Outrageous. Good thing we didn't marry this vicious woman. Grandpa took my hand. His palm was warm and dry. Man, let's go. This place is dirty. We'll find somewhere clean. We turned and left, not looking back. But I could feel Song Chengran's venomous stare burning into my back, like a parasite. He thought he'd won. He didn't know the most expensive thing in the world is regret. On the day we left, Grandpa only brought an old medicine box and a few heavy gold bars. The savings of the Su family for generations. Man, cry if you want to. In the bumping horse cart, Grandpa looked at my profile as I stared out the window and sighed. I turned back. My eyes were dry, no tears. Grandpa, I won't cry. Tears aren't worth wasting on someone like him. I just kept thinking, how could someone be this evil? He was the one with a ruined body, the one who tried to force himself on me before marriage. After I rejected him and warned him, he still plotted this vicious scheme to ruin me. He didn't just break the engagement, he tried to ruin my whole life. In those days, a girl labeled husband killer and hard-fated, even with great medical skills, was doomed to a lonely life, drowned in gossip. I've made up my mind. I clenched my fists, my nails digging into my palms. No matter how good my medical skills are, without power and money to protect myself, I can only be bullied. Grandpa, let's go to Nanyang. I hear golden opportunities are everywhere there. I want to stand so high that people like the Songs can't even bear to look up at me. A sharp light flashed in Grandpa's cloudy eyes. Good, worthy of the Su blood. The Su family's golden needles can save people and kill ghosts. Let's go fight that dragon's den. Life in Nanyang was harder than I imagined. Humid heat, burning sun, and constant discrimination. When we first arrived in Penang, we couldn't speak the language. We rented a leaky tiny attic in the slum. Grandpa was old, couldn't adjust to the climate, and broke out in severe eczema. I took care of him while selling herbal tea and dampness-removing packets at the pier. In those days, I saw laborers fighting bloody battles for a single job, foreigners and compradors spending money like water, and addicts rotting in dark corners. The evil and desire of human nature were amplified endlessly here, but I didn't back down. I used the Su family's secret recipes and improved the medicine packets. They not only drove away dampness but also repelled the fiercest local mosquitoes. Slowly, A long line formed in front of my stall. But the real turning point came on a rainy night. The rain poured down. On my way home, I tripped over someone in a dark alley. He was covered in blood, his military uniform torn to shreds. His hand still gripping a Browning pistol tightly. Grandpa pulled me back. Man, don't meddle. This man carries too much killing aura. He lives by the blade, by lightning. I saw his face, sword brows, starry eyes, even unconscious. He exuded a fierce, domineering air. But the wound in his abdomen was bleeding heavily. If we didn't save him, he'd die for sure. In that moment, Song Chungran's smug face flashed in my mind. If I wanted to rise up, to trample those who humiliated me underfoot, I couldn't just be a tea seller. I needed power, a backer strong enough to let the Su family stand firm in Nanyang. Feared by all, this man was dangerous, but also an opportunity. Grandpa, fortune favors the bold. I gritted my teeth and slung the heavy man over my back. If we save him, the Su family will finally put down roots in Nanyang. That night, Grandpa and I took turns applying needles. We used our last 100-year-old ginseng to keep him alive, pulling him back from the gates of hell. The first thing he did when he woke up was point a gun at my head. Who are you? Who sent you? His voice was hoarse, his eyes like a wounded lone wolf. I didn't flinch, holding a bowl of dark herbal soup. I'm your doctor. If you want your wound to split open and bleed to death, go ahead and shoot. He stared at me for a moment, then slowly lowered the gun, a playful smile tugging at his lips. You've got guts, woman. His name was Hui Yunjing. Later I learned he was the warlord who ruled these seas and half of Penang. They called him Marshal Hua. The 2 weeks he spent recovering were a game between us. He tested my roots. I watched his character. He was cruel, suspicious, but also loyal and clear about right and wrong. When he left, he tossed me a token. Su man, you can walk anywhere in Penang from now on. As long as Hua Yunjing lives, no one dares touch the Su family, with Marshal Hua's protection. Plus Grandpa's and my superb medical skills, the Su clinic rose quickly. 3 years. I went from a peer vendor to the head of Su Pharmaceuticals, a director of the Penang Chamber of Commerce. I wore custom kyongsams, attended elite banquets, and closed million-dollar deals with a smile. But I never forgot the Song family. I knew exactly how ruined Song Chungran's body was. It wouldn't be long before he tasted the bitter fruit he'd planted, when his life was on the line. He'd have no choice but to remember his ex-fiancée. Just as I predicted, that day finally came. In the living room of the Su mansion, a gramophone played Zhu Xian's Shanghai Night. I sat on the sofa, holding a letter just mailed from home. It was from an old neighbor. The Song family had fallen apart these past 2 years. Song Chengran had contracted syphilis. Instead of treating it properly, he took quack remedies and destroyed his body completely, paralyzed from the waist down. And all the family's shops sold off. Hearing I'd made a fortune in Nanyang, the Songs had sold their last ancestral home, packed up, and come chasing after me like flies smelling blood. Miss, they're here. Uncle Lin, the steward, walked in, his face full of disdain. They're making a scene at the door, saying they're your relatives, insisting on seeing you. I folded the letter, a cold smile on my lips. Let them in. Old friends have come from far away. I must be a good host. A moment later, noisy footsteps approached. First to rush in was Mother Song. 3 years had aged her 10 years. Her cheekbones jutted out, her eyes cloudy and greedy. The second she saw me, those yellow eyes lit up, as if she wanted to tear the silk off my body and devour it. Oh, my man, Auntie finally found you. She threw herself at me, but Uncle Lin blocked her. This is the Su mansion. No strangers are allowed to misbehave. Mother Song pulled her hand back awkwardly, but felt no shame. Instead, she plopped onto the carpet, wailing and slapping her thighs. Man, you can't be so ungrateful. Even if we didn't marry, we're old family friends. Now you're rich. You're turning your back on us poor relatives. Behind her was Father Song, bent under a heavy sack, forcing a smile, and last, two hired laborers carrying a stretcher. The stinking, shapeless figure on the stretcher was Song Chengran. I quietly covered my nose with a handkerchief. Madam Song, stand up when you speak. The Su mansion's carpet does need cleaning. My voice was cold, without a trace of warmth. Mother Song was choked speechless. She scrambled up, pointing at the stretcher through snot and tears. Man, look, it's Chengran. He suffered so much looking for you. He's dying. Your family has been doctors for generations. You're divine. You have to save him. I stood up and walked slowly to the stretcher. Song Chengran heard my voice and forced his eyes open. Those once arrogant eyes were now bloodshot and muddy. Seeing how bright and glamorous I was, shock flashed in his eyes, then deep jealousy and twisted excitement. Su man. His voice was hoarse, like a broken bellows. I knew it. You still care about me. I looked down at him, as if staring at a rat in a gutter. You think too highly of yourself, young Master Song. I only came to see who exactly cursed the man who once swore I was a husband killer. Song Chengran's face stiffened, then he put on a miserable expression. Man, all my fault. I was tricked by that Taoist. I've always had you in my heart. These 3 years, I thought of you every single day. This illness, it's lovesickness. I laughed out loud, full of mockery. Song Chengran. Do you think I wasted all those years studying medicine, or do you take me for a blind fool? I bent over, my folding fan gently lifting the blanket covering him. A disgusting, rotting stench filled the air at once. Even through his pants, pus seeped from his lower body. 3rd stage syphilis, poison in the bone, lower limbs necrotic. Every word was like a judge's death sentence. That's your so-called lovesickness. I guess young Master Song's lovesickness was spent in brothels. The 3 Songs turned pale in an instant, exposed in public. Father Song lost face, but he gritted his teeth and stepped forward, opening the sack on his back. Niece Su, let's forget the past. If you cure Chengran, all this gold is yours. The sack opened, 3 gold bars and some loose silver dollars. Probably the Song's last money for their coffins. Besides, Father Song swallowed hard, as if making a huge sacrifice. Once Chengran is well, the Song family won't hold it against you for working out here in Nanyang. The position of main wife is still yours. I looked at the gold, then at the Songs. You should be grateful faces, and my anger calmed down. Getting mad at fools only lowers my level. Hold it against you. I flicked the red nail polish on my fingers lightly. Master Song, you still don't understand the situation. 1 floor tile in this mansion is worth more than your 3 gold bars. Also, my gaze cut like a knife into Song Chengran. I, Su man, only save people, not beasts. The hall fell completely silent. Song Chengran's fake loving expression crumbled, replaced by furious ferocity. Su man, don't push your luck. He struggled on the stretcher, trying to sit up, only wriggling uselessly. I was your fiancé. You leave me to die. Aren't you afraid of divine punishment? Divine punishment, I sneered. You dare talk about divine punishment? When you spread lies that I was hard-fated and cursed my husband to force me to break the engagement, when you shamed Grandpa and me until we had to flee, weren't you afraid of divine punishment then? You were immoral before marriage, indulged in lust non-stop. I warned you out of kindness, and you bit back. Now you reap what you sow, and you want me to clean up your mess. I turned around, no longer looking at the disgusting trio. Uncle Lin, show them out, from now on. Don't let such filth in. Yes, miss. Uncle Lin waved, and several strong guards surrounded them at once. Mother Song saw the writing on the wall and threw a tantrum. I won't leave. Su man, you black-hearted witch. You have medicine. I heard you cure everything in Nanyang. You just want to watch my son die. If you don't save him, I'll die at your door. Let all Nanyang see what a venomous heart the divine Dr. Su has. She wailed and threw herself at a pillar. Fake, of course. All noise, no action. I watched her performance coldly. Die if you want, that's your choice. The Su Mansion's gate is wide enough. You can die as many as you like. But think first, this is Nanyang, not your hometown. Here, people die like ants. My voice carried a bone-chilling cold, Mother Song's fake crying stuck in her throat. Just as the guards were about to drag them out, the silent Song Chengran suddenly shouted, "Wait!" He stared at me venomously, as if he wanted to tear a piece off my body. "Suman, you think I've been wasting my time these past few days in Nanyang?" He pulled a crumpled newspaper from his chest, with Marshal Hua's photo on it. "I heard you're very close to this Marshal Hua." My heart skipped a beat, but my face stayed calm. "So what? So what?" Song Chengran grinned lewdly. "An unmarried girl, tangled up with a warlord. I bet you're his mistress." He doesn't know about our past, does he? If I spread word about our engagement, tell him you were mine first. Let's see if he still wants you. Without this backer, how will you survive here? My eyes turned icy. He actually dared to threaten me with this. 3 years, and besides ruining my reputation, he had no other tricks. What do you want? I narrowed my eyes. Song Chengran saw me give in and swelled with pride, thinking he'd caught my weakness. Simple. He licked his dry lips, greed almost dripping from his eyes. First, cure me. Second, buy the Song family a big mansion in Penang, and give me 100,000 silver dollars as compensation. Third, his lewd eyes roamed over me. Introduce me to Marshal Hua and get me an official post. Play along, and I'll keep our old engagement buried tight. Not a word will get out. I'll just say I'm your distant cousin coming to seek refuge. Mother and Father Song's eyes bulged. They nodded frantically. Yes, exactly. My son has great talent. He deserves to be an official. I looked at these fools who courted death. My last shred of patience vanished. I'd only meant to chase them away, but since they insisted on dying, I wouldn't hold back. Fine. I suddenly smiled, bright as a flower. If young Master Song is so sincere, I'll grant your wish. I turned to Uncle Lin. Take them to the guest rooms in the backyard and treat them well. I'll go prepare the medicine. The Songs were overjoyed, thinking they'd trapped me. They even dared to order me around as the guards led them away. Grandpa stepped out from behind the screen, his brows furrowed. Man, these rascals are wolves you can never feed. Keeping them here will bring trouble." I held his arm, a sharp glint in my eyes. "Grandpa, we have shotguns for wolves. These aren't even wolves, just mangy dogs. They dared to threaten me with Marshal Hua. Now they'll learn what his name really means. Trust me, in 3 days, they'll beg on their knees to leave." The Songs were locked in a remote side courtyard, not a real guest room, but an abandoned medicine hut, drafty and damp. I gave them no food, only a pot of cold water. By nightfall, Mother Song was starving and threw a fit in the yard. "Suman, what's the meaning of this? You said you'd treat us. Where's the food? Where's the meat? If my son starves, you'll regret it." I stood on the second-floor balcony, holding a glass of red wine, watching the farce coldly. "Uncle Lin, miss. Go give them some food." Uncle Lin hesitated. "Really, miss?" I pulled a packet of medicinal powder from my sleeve and handed it to him. "This is a new Clearheart powder. It cures bad tempers and foul mouths. Mix it in their rice to cool them down. It wouldn't kill them, but it would make them vomit and diarrhea until their gallbladder ached." Before long, the backyard echoed with wails and rushes to the latrine. Song Chengran was paralyzed, helpless, and soiled himself. The stench mixed with mold made his parents retch, yet they had to clean him. The next morning, I went to the backyard with 2 guards. The 3 Songs looked like wilted eggplants, sallow and limp on the ground. Mother Song opened her mouth to curse, but another cramp hit her. She could only whimper while clutching her bottom. Song Chengran was weak, but his eyes still burned with malice. "Suman, you poisoned us. I'll go to Marshal Hua. I'll expose you." I had a chair brought and sat calmly in the yard. watching him. Go on, I pointed to the gate. The door's unlocked. Crawl out if you can. Complain all you want, but I should warn you. I pulled out a red invitation card and waved it before his eyes. Marshal Hua is coming to the Su mansion for dinner tonight. You wanted to see him. Tonight's your chance. Song Chengran froze. Then his eyes blazed with joy. You mean it, of course. I smiled meaningfully. You can tell him everything about us, right to his face. See if he kills me, or chops you up and feeds you to the dogs. Song Chengran's smile froze. He was stupid, but not insane. He'd lorded it over his hometown because the Songs had money, but this was Nanyang, warlords ruled, guns spoke. Marshal Hua was a devil who killed without blinking. If I really was his woman, if he dared talk nonsense in front of Hua, I might suffer, but he, who'd touched Hua's woman, would die for sure. You're bluffing. His voice trembled. You'll find out tonight. I stood and brushed my dress, but before meeting the marshal, I must treat young Master Song. After all, we had a deal. I waved my hand. The guard stepped forward, hauling Song Chengran like a dead pig to the prepared treatment room. What are you doing? Let go. Father, mother, help me. Song Chengran screamed in terror. His parents tried to rush over, but Uncle Lin and the servants held them back. Inside the room stood a huge wooden barrel, charcoal burning beneath it, steam rising. I had them drop Song Chengran in, only his head exposed. The water was a special medicinal brew, strong chili water, salt water, and herbs that ate away rotten flesh. It was to clean his festering wounds, and to make him feel pain like cutting skin and bones. The second he hit the water, Song Chengran screamed like a slaughtered pig. The agony was like thousands of small knives scraping his bones. He thrashed wildly, splashing red liquid everywhere. I stood aside, watching without expression. Endure it, young Master Song. This is scraping the bone to purge poison. You have too much rotten flesh. How can we apply medicine without cleaning it? Su Man, you'll die a terrible death. You're a devil, he cursed as he screamed. I ignored him, holding a half-foot silver needle. Curse all you want, if you have the strength. You're not dying yet. After half an hour in the brew, his voice was hoarse. I had him pulled out. He was bright red like a cooked shrimp, his festering wounds raw and bloody. I had him lie face down, then drove the needle quickly and precisely into several major pain points on his back. This time, he couldn't even scream, he just gaped, twitching like a dying fish. This is golden needle crossing points. It stirs the last young energy in your body, I explained flatly. These needles wouldn't heal him, they would burn up his last life force, like a dying flame flaring bright for a moment, then dying for good. He was already beyond cure.